Hello students, in today's science video lesson, we are going to revise chapter number 10, Light, Reflection and Refraction. And I'm very sure that revision of this chapter will be very helpful to you to prepare this chapter thoroughly for the upcoming exam. So, light is an electromagnetic wave and it has dual nature. If you remember, in this chapter, we studied about spherical mirrors. So, spherical mirrors are of two types. Concave spherical mirror and convex spherical mirror. So concave spherical mirror is the one wherein the reflecting surface is curved inward. Please have a look at the figure which is flashing below this slide. And when the rays of light are incident parallel to this reflecting surface, after reflection, all these rays, they meet at one point on the principal axis. Since the rays of light, they converge, this is called as converging mirror. Convex mirror, it is the mirror whose reflecting surface is curved outward, and when the rays of light are incident parallel to it, after reflection, these rays they diverge, but it appears as if they all are coming from the point which is on a principal axis but on the other side of reflecting surface. Since the rays of light diverge after reflection, this mirror is called as diverging mirror. This is the figure which is showing you different parts of spherical mirror: pole, then center of curvature denoted by C, principal focus which is F, radius of curvature is CP, principal axis is XY, and PF is the focal length. In our previous video lessons, we have learned the definition of all these parts of spherical mirror. Please go through that video so that the revision part will be very clear to you. Then the most important part of this lesson is drawing the ray diagram so as to find out where is the exact location of image and the object. For drawing the ray diagram, we have to follow 4 rules. So let's quickly revise. Rule number 1, a ray of light which is parallel to principal axis, after reflection, it passes through focus F for the concave spherical mirror. But for the convex spherical mirror, if the ray of light is incident parallel to principal axis, after reflection it diverges, but it appears as if it is coming from the focus which is on the other side of reflecting surface. Rule number 2, when you take a ray of light which passes through focus F, after reflection, this ray of light will always be parallel to principal axis. Alright. Then the third rule, that when the ray of light passes through center of curvature, after reflection it retraces the same path. Alright. In case of convex mirror, if you take a ray which is directed towards focus F, then after reflection it is also parallel to principal axis. Other than this, one more fourth important rule is there. Please have a look at this, that when the incident ray is directed towards the pole, then it reflects back, making the same angle with the principal axis. And this is true with both the types of the mirrors. Now out of these 4 rays, for drawing the ray diagram, we will make use of any 2 rays according to our convenience. And so drawing the ray diagrams will be easy. But these 3 or 4 rules you have to be thorough with. You have to learn this, that when the ray of light passing through any particular part of the mirror, after reflection, from where it is reflecting. Alright, so let's now understand the images formed by concave mirror. We will keep the object at different places and find out what is the location and the nature of the image. So when the object is placed at infinity, the image is formed at focus F. Keep one thing in mind, that when the object is at infinite distance, the rays of the light which is coming from this object appears always parallel to each other, and therefore the image is formed at the focus. The image is real and inverted and it is highly diminished. You can also call that as a point image. Alright. Second position of the object is beyond center of curvature. Have a look at this. If the object is placed beyond center of curvature, we will make use of the two rays. The first ray parallel to principal axis, and as I told, after reflection it will always pass from focus F. The second ray we will use, which passes through center of curvature, and after reflection it retraces the same path, and the place where both the rays meet each other, at that place we get the image. So have a look at this. This is the image. If you compare this image with the object, you will observe that it is diminished image, it is real and inverted. Then when the object is at center of curvature, look at this object placed at center of curvature. Take the rule, keep the rule in mind, and let's have the first rule. Ray of light parallel to principal axis, after reflection passes through focus F. Second rule, the ray of light passes through focus at F, and after reflection it will always be parallel to principal axis. The place where both the rays meet each other, there we get the image, and look at this. The image is same size as that of the object. It is real and inverted. Okay. Next, when the object is placed between center of curvature and focus, have a look at this. Make use of our rules. First rule, ray of light passing will be parallel to principal axis. After reflection, it passes through focus F. Second rule, when the ray of light passes through focus F, after reflection, it is parallel to principal axis. This is the place where both the rays are meeting, and there we get the image. Look at this. The image is formed beyond center of curvature. It is enlarged. It is greater than the size of the object. It is real and inverted. Alright. Next, when the object is placed at focus F, then our first rule, ray of light parallel to principal axis. After reflection, it passes through focus F. Second rule, I cannot make use of the ray which is passing through focus F because the object is at F. So I'll make of this rule that when the ray of light passes through center of curvature, it retraces the same path. But if you observed, now both the rays are parallel to each other. They are not meeting at any place. So where is the position of the object then? The position of the object is at infinite distance. Alright, and the image is highly enlarged, it is real and it is inverted. Then the next is when the object is between focus and principal axis. Please pay attention here, this is very important figure. Let's apply the rules. First, parallel to principal axis, after reflection passes through focus F. Second ray, we will make use of this, that when the ray of light passes through center of curvature, it retraces the same path. Again in this case, if you observed, both the reflected rays are not meeting at any point. So if we extend these two rays in the opposite direction of the reflecting surface, they appear to meet at one point. They are not actually meeting, they appear to meet at one point. And this is the place where we are getting the image. The image is enlarged, it is virtual and it is erect. So this is the only position of the object wherein we are getting a virtual image. Rest all images are real and inverted. So this particular position of the object you have to keep in mind. Let's now have a look at the images formed by the convex spherical mirror. So when the object is placed at infinite distance, look at this. Let's observe where the image is formed. As I said, when the object is at infinity, the rays of light coming from infinite distance appear parallel to each other. For convex mirror, after reflection, the rays of light diverge like this, but it appears as if they are emerging from a point which is on the opposite side of the reflecting surface, which is focus. So in this case, the image is formed at focus. The image is highly diminished. It is a point size image. The nature of the image is virtual and erect. Then when the object is placed between infinity and pole, you can keep the object anywhere between infinite distance and pole. Let's see where the image is formed. So we will make use of the rule, the ray parallel to principal axis. After reflection it diverges but appears as if it is coming from focus F. The second ray we will use, that when the ray of light is directed towards the center of curvature, after reflection it retraces the same path like this. So where the image is formed, can you see this particular position where both the rays appear to meet at one particular point, and that is the place where the image is formed. So the image is behind the mirror, it is diminished, it is virtual, and it is erect. Now keep one thing in mind, that the position of the object will be anywhere between infinity and pole. The image will always be behind the mirror, image will always be diminished, virtual, and erect. Alright. Then these are some of the uses of concave spherical mirror. It is used in torch, searchlights, then the headlights of the vehicle. It is used as a shaving mirror. Then dentists use this mirror, and also the solar furnace, because it is a converging mirror. The rays of light converge at one place, so producing heat is easy. Now in all these cases we get the magnified proper image, and that is the reason the use is in all these cases. Alright. Then what is the use of convex mirror? So convex mirrors are used as the rear view mirrors in the vehicle. Convex mirror gives erect and diminished image of the object, and they also have a wider field of view than the plane mirror, and that is the reason they are used as a rear view mirrors in the vehicles. Then this was the doubt asked by the students about the Cartesian sign conventions. This is very useful when we solve the numericals based on this chapter. Meaning is that what signs we will be using for the object, the image, the object distance, image distance, object height, and image height, we will decide with the help of this Cartesian sign convention. So have a look at this Cartesian sign conventions for concave mirror. You have to consider pole as origin. Please bring your graph paper in front of your eyes. What we called as origin, the origin is our pole here. You all are aware that all the distances towards the left side of the origin is negative, towards the right side positive, above the origin positive, and below the origin negative. And the same thing you have to make use in case of the mirrors. So since we always keep the object in front of the reflecting surface, so it is always towards the left side of the pole, so your object distance will always be negative. We denote object distance by letter U, so U will always be negative both in case of concave and convex mirrors. Now we have just learned about the images. You have to check out where the image is formed. If it is inverted, then your image distance is towards the left side of the pole, so image distance is negative, and size of the image is also negative. Okay, so you have to just bring the graph in front of your eyes, and based on that you have to decide. So left side all negative distances, towards the right side of the pole positive, and above the pole the size of the image is positive, and below the pole the size of the image is negative. So in case of concave mirror, object distance is negative, image distance is also negative, height of the object is positive, height of the object is negative, but only one exceptional case, when you place the object between the focus and the pole. In that case, your image distance is positive and height of the image is also positive. Now have a look at this. These are the sign conventions for convex mirror. So object distance will be negative because object is always in front of the reflecting surface. But as I showed you, the images are formed behind the mirror, so image distance is positive and height of the image is also positive in case of convex mirror. Alright, I hope the doubt is clear now. You have to compare this with the rules of the graph which you use. Then mirror formula. Mirror formula is relation between the object distance, image distance and the focal length f. What is focal length? It is a distance between the focus and the pole. That is the focal length. And the relation between these three things is 1 upon v plus 1 upon u is equal to 1 upon f. And this relation is very helpful to you for solving the numericals. Next is magnification. The magnification is what? How much the image is magnified, to what extent the image is magnified. So to find out that, our formula is height of the image upon height of the object. Magnification is height of the image upon height of the object. Magnification is denoted by letter M and height of the image is h dash, height of the object is h. You can also call that as h1, h2 depending upon what is convenient to you. So this magnification is also related to object distance and image distance, and it is expressed as magnification is equal to minus v upon u. So this you have to learn the derivation for why we are taking minus here. This is not for us for this particular year, standard 10th. We will be learning this in the coming years, maybe 11th or 12th standard. So you just have to keep in mind that the magnification is equal to minus v upon u. Alright, so this is about the spherical mirrors. In the next video lesson, we will revise about the lens and the images formed by the lens. So please go through this video once again, keep revising it, keep practicing for the ray diagram, and do not forget to go through the previous videos also. So see you in the next video lesson. Till then, bye and take care.